This next ad comes to you from a company that's cooking the best omelets you'll have all year, all while changing the world one egg at a time. It's called Just Egg, and I'm happy to tell you about it because Just Egg is a cholesterol-free, plant-based egg that will give you the most decadent quiches of your life, the fluffiest scrambles, and the easiest egg sandwiches. Or in my case in particular, I love a good Just Egg scramble in the morning on an English muffin, a little bit of cheese and beautiful barbecue sauce. I think it's fantastic and it tastes great. And Just Egg has about the same protein as a chicken egg, but with much less saturated fat. Plus, Just Egg is packed with cholesterol-lowering polyunsaturated fat. Chicken eggs have severe FOMO when they look at Just Egg, and that's really the important part for me. In order for Just Egg to be successful, I think it really needs to make sure that it tastes good and is good for you, and I can happily say it ticks both of those boxes. As someone who loves eating eggs every morning, I've had to cut it back in recent years, basically because of health concerns. There's a lot of cholesterol in regular eggs, but I'm excited to have found an alternative that is good for me and good for the environment. In 2022, may your eggs be filled with Just Egg. Just Egg, really good eggs.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Tuesday, April 12th. Happy play-in day. I'm Sicko Skeets, and alongside me, on screen at least, we do have Tass Mellis.
Play on, play in, players.
We got our top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby.
Hey, yo. Hey,
yo. The international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friends.
And super producer, filling in still for JD. His final No Dunk show, Andrew Schlecht. What's up, Andrew?
Last day hanging in the yard, guys. It's been fun.
Man. The clouds are coming. Time to go on inside. No more yard time. Though you will be doing No Breaks episode later today with Trey Graydon and special guest Lee Ellis talking about the Melbourne GP there, the Australian GP. So you're not done quite just yet, Andrew, but we appreciate you filling in and the admirable work you've done here, keeping this train moving. Shout out to the stream team joining us live right now on YouTube. Take a second, subscribe to No Dunks on YouTube. Do that if you haven't. Like the video, comment, share the show. Email in any of your NBA questions to nodunks@theathletic.com. Keep them coming. Sicko Week is continuing here at No Dunks. Later on today's show, today's the day, I will announce my 10 All-NBA teams and the snubs at every single position. I had somebody tweeting this morning, can't wait to see where PJ Washington lands. Sorry, buddy, doesn't make the cut, but hey, maybe I'll throw his name in now as a snub. Lily, you got tweet of the night. That's always an adventure. You ready for that one? Okay.
I think so, yes.
Okay, and we will get into the Sacramento Kings moving off of Alvin Gentry as their interim head coach, and once again starting up the search for another one. We'll get to that, though, in a little bit.
The people want to know, Andrew, where are you? You look like an official businessman today with the collar.
I do. I've got my collar on. I've got my lanyard. No, I'm at the Thunder practice facility currently. We've got exit interviews today. Talking to Mike or Mark Degnault,
whoever shows up.
Nice.
Hey, make sure you ask Josh Giddey about the Formula One in Melbourne too. I'm sure he was a bit of a redhead back in his days.
I'll see if I can get him on No Breaks this afternoon.
That's great.
Why not?
Great get.
Yeah, we could bump Lee from that show and put Josh Giddey on instead. Okay, we got two more play-in games to preview and predict here on this Tuesday episode. Before we dive in, if you're curious where our thoughts are on tonight's two games, Cavs-Nets and Clippers-Wolves, those games on TNT tonight, 7 and 9:30 p.m. Eastern, go check out yesterday's podcast, Monday's No Dunks Pod, or the YouTube show, where we broke those down and made our predictions. We are actually split on the Clippers-Wolves one. So go check that out if you want to hear our thoughts on tonight's games. But we're looking ahead to Wednesday night. Task, get us started, my man. We got Hornets-Hawks. Got two Southeast Division rivals meeting up here in the East 9-10 game. Hawks hosting Charlotte, and the loser eliminated from playoff contention, while the winner gets to meet the loser of the Nets-Cavs game for the chance at the number 8 seed. But what are your keys to this game, X factors, and predictions, my man?
Well, first, I want to know, are we going down to the game? Or we see Andrew, he's at exit interviews for OKC. This could be the exit interview for the Atlanta Hawks. This could be their last game at home. We got to go.
Yeah,
we got to
we're
go
going.
down.
Yeah.
Let's go. First of all, we haven't confirmed that. Let's go. We're going to go see 1,000 points, I think. This game is going to be up and down. That's how the Hornets are going to win this game. They want to run. They want to go small. They want to lose the Hawks in transition. You mentioned PJ Washington. He may not make an all-NBA team, even if there's 10 of them, but he's going to be key on the floor when the Hornets beat the Hawks the last time. PJ Washington was at the 5 to close the game, along with a crazy ball handling lineup of LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier, Miles Bridges, and Cody Martin to throw in a little 3-and-D. And that's the Hornets' pace. They're going to win this game. They don't care about the defensive end all that much, but they just want to outscore Trey and the Hawks. Now, Trey's going to score against that lineup, but if they can slow down that Hornets small ball a little bit, that's where they win this game. And the absence of John Collins for the Hawks, who's got a couple injuries, a finger and a foot injury, is apparent. I think playoff John is a real thing, and maybe he comes back in a sort of reverse course. JC could do the unexpected and come back on Good Friday. A little religion joke for you. You got to explain religion jokes these days. What's happened to our country? Anyways, if they have a game on Friday, he could come back and help out, but he is not playing on Wednesday night. Absolutely not. So I think Clint Capella in the middle is key. He should be the biggest or the most dominant big in this game. That should be his agenda, to be able to destroy a Plumlee or PJ Washington on the offensive glass, to get lots of pick and roll opportunities and to board like crazy. Because if he can be sort of a pacemaker himself, if he can get some extra points to slow down the Hornets and get their transition sort of in neutral a little bit, I think the Hawks can win this game. Now, they split the season series. The Hawks lost the last time, as I said, to that sort of small ball lineup in Charlotte. And I bring up John Collins, I bring up Clint Capella, because DeAndre Hunter has sort of been up and down. You might have to play Danilo Gallinari a ton in this game, but he is going to get burnt on the defensive end. So Trae Young's just going to need to find help from somebody. It's been a crazy disappointing year. And Bogdanovic, I think, will help. I think you might see a lot of DeLon Wright because of the Hornets' small lineups, and Kevin Huerter obviously out there. But I do think the Hawks, this is a big enough game for them to play enough defense. They just didn't do it enough during the season, but they're a pretty good home team. They have been hot lately at home, and I think they do put forth enough effort to slow down a run and gun Hornets team.
I love John Hollinger's idea with this, Trey. First team to 150 wins, and we give extra points for highlight passes and dunks. I love it. That's what we should do in a play-in game. Get really wild. But both these teams coming in playing decent. Charlotte 11-4 in their last 15, and the Hawks 1-7 in their last 9, 17 in their last 26. So these teams, despite maybe not playing a ton of defense, have been finding ways to win. But what are you watching in this one, Trey?
Yeah, the key to the game might just be who has the ball last. People will score the entirety of the game, and whoever just happens to have the ball at the end, maybe that's the win there. As we saw with the Hornets last year in the playoff game, they are excited to give up some points. Lost 144 to 117 against the Indiana Pacers. Nobody remembers that at this point. I think the Hawks can win this pretty easily if they take care of the ball. They're, in general, a low turnover team because Trae Young handles the ball for the majority of the time. And that's pretty much the entirety of the Hornets defense. If they don't force a turnover, you're probably going to score. Whereas the Hornets, they're going to win this by outshooting the Hawks. The Hornets take a ton of threes. They shoot a pretty good percentage. The Hawks shoot them well. They just don't shoot quite as many of them. So I think this is going to be a pretty big game for Bogdanovic, Kevin Huerter, and obviously Danilo Gallinari as well. They've got to make their threes because the Hornets are going to junk things up. They're going to try and make somebody else besides Trae Young beat them. They've done a pretty solid job against Trae Young during the regular season this year. I think like 20 points per game on 38% shooting. They're going to play small. They're going to play fast, and they're going to shoot a ton of threes. The Hawks are just going to have to kind of control the tempo by taking good care of the ball and by keeping their poise, because things are going to get weird against the Hornets. The Hornets are really good at getting opposing teams to play their style of basketball. The Hawks honestly just can't do that, because then things turn into a track meet, and at that point, it could be a toss-up. I think the Hawks are the better team here. but they have to play like the better team. They have to play smarter, and that hasn't always been the Hawks' strong suit this season.
Yeah, Trey, you're right. I mean, Charlotte in the matchups with the Hawks this year, they'll throw some zone defense at Trey. They'll force the ball out of his hands. They'll go small, like you guys have talked about here. And the theory is, if you get the ball out of Trey's hands early, that it may not come back to him, because he's not whipping around there like he's Steph Curry, for a lot of the time. So that's the plan probably. And that's why I think those shooters that you guys are saying, Bogdanovic, Kevin Huerta, you can't even say his name normal now because of Lee. He's key, because if the ball's forced out of Trey and they're saying anybody but you beat us, we don't want to give up the floaters. We don't want you in isolation. Red Velvet, I mean, he scored 18 points per game in his 4 games against Charlotte. He shot 52% and splashed 17 3-pointers. They might need that, or a Bogdanovic, or both of them there, Lee, to keep the scoreboard ticking there. But this one should be fun. I hope we're down there. I think Trey just sent a Slack message that standing room only tickets are now available.
Oh, wow.
So let's get down there, Lily. But what do you think about this one?
Yeah, no, I think the points you guys are hitting on are pretty much where it's come down. I think home court advantage is going to be big in this one. I think if it was in Charlotte, the Hornets are probably favorites. Here in Atlanta, and the Hawks are favorite. And I think Bogdanovic is the key here, because he only played 2 games against the Hornets this season, and he was pretty bad. 9 points, and he shot 23% from downtown. That's just not going to fly if the Hawks are going to get away with this one, because if you go cold, if your team goes cold for 5 or 6 possessions, that could really open it up for the other team. And that's just something in this sort of a game you can't afford to lose. So I think it comes down. I think Gallinari in a game like this, it's actually okay. He's going to get exposed defensively, but he can also just maybe go out there and hit 5 or 6 threes, which could really help Atlanta's case here. So it should be fantastic. It should be a fun game. Lots of running and gunning and all that. And the Hornets are going to feel good. You mentioned their record in recent games. The Hawks had quietly a similar sort of turnaround like they had last season. No, 8 games below 500 around the halfway mark, finished 26-14, but it kind of went under the radar because I think a lot of us thought, man, the Hawks just haven't got it this year. But they've sort of gotten themselves into this position. They have managed to steal home court in this critical matchup against Charlotte. And really, that's where it could come down to. I think we're going to see Trey trying to throw some lobs to Clint Capella as well, because Plum Dog, he's a battler down there, but I think the way you can maybe expose him is just by getting lobs over the top of him. That's how they're going to have to get some easy points. And then those guys, if Boggy and Kevin Huerta, just to correct you there, if those guys are making shots, Atlanta wins this game. If they're not, I think it's Charlotte wins this game. I can easily see this one, as Hollinger points out, there being 153 to 148, multiple guys in 30-point territory for this game, and it just becomes like a crazy, crazy ending. Big swings throughout the game, but I'd take the Hawks again because they're at home, and I think Trae Young, they've got the best player.
And you will be in attendance, standing, banging on a wall?
I will be standing. Yeah, I'll be there standing, cheering,
not
channeling my emotion, trying to. But hey, it'd be fun to see LaMelo Ball in a playoff game too. I mean, or whatever, what do we ever call this playing game? Because I'm excited to see how he handles the pressure. He's a star player, and he has been good for them over this last stretch where Charlotte has been playing some of their best ball.
The real question is, how many beers will Lee have on Wednesday night? That's all I care about.
Yeah, well,
I mean, you set the line at 1.5. That's where you go. These are because he finds these tall boys to be a little too much at times. Doesn't like the selection sometimes.
Yeah,
one's a given. You're good for one. That second one, I never know with you.
Yeah, well, the Peronis last year weren't so big. Now they've got these gigantic Stellas, and I'm like, it's just a little too much. It gets a little dry, a little bit warm at the end of it get about 3 quarters of the way through, and you're like, I'm ready. You get about 3 quarters of the way through, and you're like, all right, I'm ready for a freshie.
Okay. Well, I'm hitting the over on Wednesday night for a playing game. I think Lee's going to be feeling it down there at the Fortress. Tess, any other things to watch in this game, X factors, or what is your final prediction? It sounds like you're leaning towards Atlanta.
Yeah, they're 9-1 in their last 10 at home. I think that's the biggest number we should be looking at. I do like the fact that they lost their last game against the Hornets. I think for teams that are good enough to be in this position, but not great enough to be in the top 4, they do fight back after losses. And I think this is they had a bad taste in their mouth the way they gave away that game in Charlotte, and they will remember that. And I think, Bogdanovic is key coming down the stretch. He had a really good stretch run towards the end of the season. He is very focused. He said to our Chris Kirshner at The Athletic, we opened up a lot to Chris Kirshner in an article. He said, I'm going to set a record next year. Chris Kirshner said, what record are you going to set? He said, well, I don't know. It's just the record, because he's focused. He wants to set a shooting record, whatever that is, whatever that may be. He's kind of tired of just being labeled a guy that, didn't shoot a good percentage this year. He feels like he had a good season shooting the balls. And so I think he's a really, really big key, along with Kevin Huerter, beside Trae Young, just to slow the flow, just to really slow down the Hornets. I just hope that the Hawks don't slow it down by going to the hack a Plumlee, as Coyote Jester suggests here in the stream team.
We would love it.
Oh, please no. Please no. I don't want to see free throws from a left-handed free throw shooter that just converted. Kind of cool. But I hope the Hawks. I mean, is there anything cool about a free throw? No. I guess the guy changing from right to left is kind of cool. I just hope that it doesn't come down to that for the Atlanta Hawks. Listen, I'm cheering for the Hawks being down here, but I do agree. It's exciting to see LaMelo Ball in a show me type of game. This is going to be his first run here in the postseason, I think is the appropriate term. Regular season, postseason for where we are right now, then playoffs. I think that's how we got to play it. Yeah, that's the rules.
He played last year, though, 14 points on 4 of 14 shooting, and it was a dud against the Pacers. So, got to be a better performance by the Hornets this year. Everybody was excited to see him in the play-in tournament, and, it's a year later, and we're all forgetting that they were even there. They got smoked by a terrible Pacers team, like a bummer Pacers team. Somehow hung 144 points on him. It could get ugly, that's for sure. Another X factor, no doubt, is Kelly Oubre Jr. He's going to take 12 threes, guaranteed. He might make 9. He might make 1. So we shall see which way it ends up going for Kelly and the boys. Will Lee be blowing kisses to him? I don't know. I don't know if he's going to do that in Atlanta.
Yeah. Well, see, I've got the old Larry Johnson Charlotte T-shirt as well, the number 2 on the back, but I can't wear that to a Hawks playoff game. I've got to be a Hawks bro. So I'll save the kisses for Kevin and Boggy.
Every kiss begins with K.
Yeah,
Kevin or Kelly, either way.
Yeah.
Okay, so Trey, you're going Atlanta. What's your final prediction here?
Yeah, I'm going Atlanta.
Okay.
The Hawks are the better team here. They're surely disappointed to be a 9 seed this season. They just kind of messed around for the first half of the year before putting things together in the second half of the season. They've got playoff experience. They know how to actually win playoff games. They were in the conference finals last year. I'm going Hawks.
Okay. And Lee, before I ask you for your final score prediction, 4 Morning Poops pointing out Hack a Plum Dog was what we called smoking grape cigarellos in high school. Which is a great message there in the stream team. You guys are killing it here this morning. Okay, so Lee, you are leaning towards Atlanta. What do you think? Going to be a close one, blowout? Where do you go?
No, I think it will be a close one. I mean, I think the Hawks have got a slightly better offense, but the Hornets have got a slightly better defense. Not that really plays into it in this one. I think it honestly just comes down to who gets hotter at the right time. I think the Hawks win 153 to 148 in regulation.
You know what? I just want to push back on this because I said it too, like the whole Hollinger thing. Sometimes we've done this before. We're like, wow, there's going to be 0 defense in this. You watch. It's going to be 180 to 170. And then the game is like the opposite. It's the weirdest thing, especially in a one-game situation.
Look, maybe again, in the playoffs, it is a bit tighter, and maybe they, they try a little bit harder to defend and lock down the other team. But I just think once you get into the flow of this game, one team could be up 20, and it's like, no need to panic, guys. We can make this up in 5 or 6 possessions.
Yeah, that's fair. So hopefully it is an entertaining game. I'm with you guys. I'm also taking Atlanta. I think it will be a close one, though. I think this will be like a 5 or 6 point game. What's the line on this one? Hawks favorite, you guys said?
I think 5 points I saw.
Oh, is it? Okay, right around there then. Oh, they're good at this, aren't they? But give me Atlanta in a somewhat close game, hopefully an entertaining game versus Charlotte. Let's move to the second game on Wednesday night. Again, these games are not on tonight. These are on tomorrow, these two. Spurs-Pelicans. My goodness, Trey. The game that some people wonder, should it even be happening because of their overall record? Well, it is. All right. It's real to me, damn it. Spurs-Pelicans, take it away. What are you watching in this one?
Yeah, I'm going to be like Matthew McConaughey hacking a plum dog watching this one. Just eyes focused in on two mediocre teams playing decent basketball. But, the good thing for the Pelicans and Spurs is they've both been playing games that matter for the last month of the season. Look at how the Pelican season started. They went 1-12 to begin the year, and they finished the year 10 games under 500. Advanced stats tell me that means they played over 500 basketball for 5 months. They won 9 of their last 15. The Spurs, meanwhile, won 8 of their last 15, 7 of the last 11. A lot of that was against brutal teams who were trying to get out of the play-in tournament, but they also beat the Warriors and the Nuggets in the last month of the season. So the Spurs were at least giving some serious effort out there. The key to this game starts with who's playing and who isn't. DeJounte Murray didn't play 5 of the final 6 games for the Spurs, though he did suit up in game 82. John Hollinger mentions that the Spurs pick drops 6 slots if they get up to the number 8 seed and actually make the playoffs. That being said, Murray's going to play. For the Pels, the question is Brandon Ingram. He didn't play the last 3 games for New Orleans, has been resting his hamstring. The Athletic's Will Guillory said the plan is for him to be ready for the play-in tournament. So I'm assuming we got basically full rosters, that we did get that little Zion tease. Oh, he would love to come back. It ain't happening. Assuming that Ingram is playing, the Pelicans got to be the favorite. 29-26 in the 55 games that Ingram played. Between him and CJ McCollum, maybe a little bit too much offense for the Spurs, but it should still be tight because the Pelicans get to the line a lot, but the Spurs are one of the better teams in the league at keeping opponents off the foul line. New Orleans forces a ton of turnovers, but the Spurs take care of the ball. Spurs beat the Pelicans 3 times this season. The Pelicans beat them once by 33 points. So very different but evenly matched teams. One potential area to watch, New Orleans on the offensive glass. The Pelicans were 3rd in offensive rebound rate this season. The Spurs are 26th in defensive rebound rate. So an X factor, more like a V factor. Jonas Valanciunas. This is already going to be his 4th play-in game of his career. He was there with the Grizzlies in 1920, played 2 games last year in 2021, including a 23-point, 23-rebound, big beef Barbara Walters against Jakob Poeltl last season playing with the Grizzlies. So I got to go with JV here. Poeltl keeps showing up in all of these weird situations, and he's usually taking the L in it. So I think you're going to throw another L, Poeltll on this one.
Thank God we have Trey Kirby because no one else remembers any of these previous play-in games. It's like you say
somebody's got to look them up.
Oh, yeah. I guess that did happen. I guess they did play. All right. So he's leaning with the Pelicans at home. I will say, I was completely wrong about both these teams. I remember when they started 1-12 New Orleans, I said, well, this season's over. I mean, it's a wrap. Disappointing as hell. No Zion. It's over. They're not going to be sniffing the playoffs. Well, here they are in the play-in. And then I remember at the trade deadline, the Spurs appear to be like, okay, we'll sort of wave the white flag on this season, just lean into the development of our guys. They traded away Derek White, they traded away Thad Young. They just get some picks. And it's like, instead they fall into this spot too. A big part of this, of course, is the Lakers being complete garbage. But here they are. Lee, what are you watching in this one? Where does the advantage lie to you?
Well, I think the advantage lies in 2 things, the home court and then the playoff experience. I know you mentioned the play in there, but CJ McCollum's been to the playoffs around 60 games there. Valanciunas has played around 50. Brandon Ingram's never played, but I think CJ McCollum has gone at least to the conference finals, and that could be a pretty decisive factor. He's been pretty good since he did come over in the trade. He's obviously a guy who can go out there and score. I'm not sure the Spurs offense can sort of keep up when you've got those sort of guys. I think Valanciunas in the middle has the advantage over Jakob Poeltl as well. Jakob Poeltl's a good defender, but I think Jonas is a big body out there for him that he can sort of muscle his way inside and get a few easy baskets. So I think it sort of leans towards New Orleans for that reason. I think they've just got the experience, the guys who I trust a little bit more to get a bucket. And DeJounte Murray, the injury is interesting because if you sit out the last game or 2, you can understand maybe rest, but 5 of 6 tells me there's probably something a little bit more there. So maybe he's not 100%. Who knows? We'll find out. But I just think the Pelicans have been playing better, certainly sort of since the All-Star break there. And again, home court advantage can be a real factor in a one-off game like this. You want to be at home. You want to be in front of your fans, especially when you've got guys who are just a little bit more experienced playing beyond the regular season. So that's why I lean towards CJ McCollum. I think he can have a pretty big game here and be the sort of Lillard that he played next to there in Portland, where it's like time to step up your game. He's shown that in the past, and I think he's going to do it again tonight or tomorrow.
Tomorrow night, yes. Wednesday night, this one goes down. I'm excited for like the casual fan to maybe tune into this game task and be like, what, Jackson Hayes? This guy plays alongside JV and Herb Jones? Who the hell is that? Where'd this guy come from? There's going to be a lot of that. People are going to be confused. Even McCollum's on the Pelicans, I think. I don't think a lot of people are following New Orleans all that closely. But do you think the Spurs can, I guess, call it an upset? It would be on the road to win this game and try and have a shot at the 8th seed, or do you like New Orleans as well?
Well, I like New Orleans. I do think Jakob Poeltl in the middle for the Spurs is important. Getting on the offensive glass and getting Jonas Valanciunas hopefully out of the game. I think that's the biggest key for the Spurs, is just to get Valanciunas off the floor if possible, to be able to go against Willie Hernan-Gomez and to be able to open it up for DeJounte Murray a little bit more in the middle to go dance with Willie Hernan-Gomez or whoever. Yeah, I do think the Pelicans offense is going to be a little too much. I do think Brandon Ingram, even though he's never played in a playoff game or a play-in game, to me, play-in games don't exist until they're on Basketball Reference. They're on NBA.com, but I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it that they don't exist. They're not regular season stats. They're not postseason stats. They're play-in stats. They don't exist until they're on Basketball Reference. But Brandon Ingram, I am surprised because he's an all-star, I suppose, that this is year 6 for him and he's never played in the playoffs. But he does have that advantage beside him in CJ McCollum for sure, having been there quite a bit throughout his career. And it is funny to think about DeJounte Murray, who's been in this league a lot longer than you remember, I guess, because he feels like a young player, but this is the 7th year anyway since he's drafted in 2015. He's been to a couple playoffs with Kawhi Leonard. It's been so freaking long. But the playoff advantage has to go to the Pels and their offense. But I think if the Spurs are able to play a little rugged, with the depth that they have at center, if they bring in a Jock or whoever, if they can rough up Valanciunas, I think that's the key to the game. I think get him out of the game as quickly as possible.
Keldon Johnson asked about this trip here, Lee. I wanted to get your take on this. He said the Spurs are packing for 4 games. All right, because they're packing for 2 play-ins and then 2 playoff games. Because if they make it, they're the 8th seed and they're on the road in Phoenix. So he said, quote, everybody on the team is packing for 4 games. We're going to be ready to play. I'm just curious your take on that, because I know you and Trey, especially in sending you to finals at times, you would never know, if it was wrapping up, it's a possibility it's over tonight. It's not, the dilemma of like how much to pack, because you could be there, let's call it one night. You could be there 3 or 4 nights, the way they stretch out these finals. So did you also have this Keldon Johnson dilemma? And were you always leaning towards, well, I got to pack for the 4 nights, or would you just buy new clothes in the city?
Well, yeah, I had to take 3 blazers at times, because or sports coats, because you couldn't wear the same one on the show, and we were probably never gone. I think 3 games was the most one of us went at any one time there. So that was it. So it was a little bit of extra, luggage you had to take, but it was always fun. You thought, well, I got to mix up the shirts and things like that. You can't wear the same one, and then 2 games later you got the same shirt on, because then it looks like you were just like you had no faith in the team. But what's interesting about his remarks there, I mean, Pat Riley, when the Heat went to Dallas to close it out in 2006, when it was the old 2-3-2 format and they were up 3-2, he was like, I'm taking 1 shirt, 1 tie, and 1 suit. And that sort of made more sense, that sort of confidence, arrogance of we're ending it here. But, players are supposed to only take it 1 game at a time. But not Keldon Johnson. He's like, nah, we're going to the playoffs, baby. So I like the confidence from a young guy. I like it. I think it's good.
Keldon Johnson's playing really, really well for San Antonio as of late, too. He's putting up some numbers there. This will be fun. I saw people in the stream team saying, one task, this is like the Raptors Bowl here with Poeltl versus JV. It's like a practice back in the day. And then 2, even the people that are the sickos here in the stream team are like, most people don't get a lot of opportunities, unless you're a Pelicans or Spurs fans, to see these 2 teams play. And I think that's very true. And there will be, in theory, some eyeballs on this game as the last game of the first part of the play-in tournament on Wednesday night. So it'll be fun. I hope they put on a show. I hope to, some of the young Spurs players and even some of these young Pelican guys like Herb Jones, that they ball out, because this will be a big opportunity for them to at least get recognized by some.
I would say people have the opportunity to watch the Pelicans and the Spurs. They just choose not to.
Well, yeah.
Really.
Well,
I mean, every team is available.
No, not everybody has League Pass, though.
Not everybody.
You're not seeing them on national television a lot. You're not seeing them on NBA TV a lot.
Oh, come on. There's lots of Pellies on NBA TV.
No,
Check the sked, man.
How many times do you think the Pelicans played on NBA TV this year?
At least as many as Lee brings Blazers on the road. At least
just the
3.
Zion factor. I guess the Zion factor was there.
They had national TV games.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So
Anyway,
predictions? Is everybody taking New Orleans?
Yeah, it's about a 5-point line there as well. I think the Spurs can cover it, but I am taking the Pelicans to win the contest.
Okay. What about you, Tass?
Yeah, I got the Pellies at home. I do believe in Brandon Ingram as a cool cat number 1 guy, especially CJ McCollum playing beside him. Yeah, I think it's going to be hard for the Spurs to contain that. Again, I do think it's the Spurs got to score inside for this game to be interesting. It's got to be DeJounte Murray and Keldon Johnson getting JV off the floor. But yeah, I believe in the Pels. The Pels, they did have aspirations. They did come from 1-12. I think they're a confident bunch going into this game.
All right. What do you got, Trey?
I would love to San Antonio swerve, but I got to go with the Pelicans here. They seem like a team that, you throw out the first month of the season, they're right up there with some of the bad Eastern Conference teams. They would be knocking on the door of the 10th seed regardless in the Eastern Conference. So, yeah, not a lot of people watch the Pelicans and Spurs. And when the Pelicans showed up on national TV, people were like, why are the Pelicans on national TV?
Yeah.
So that's definitely true. But one exciting game is all we need from these squads tonight or tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
Yeah, I mean, we could have done the previews on the days of the game, but that would have made too much sense.
No, well, yeah, then we've got too many blocks to fill too. I was going to say, Tass, you're right. I forgot the Zion factor, of course, thinking he was going to play this season. 15 total, 5 on NBA TV. Though, who knows how many of these were flexed? We'd have to really do a deep dive on that. But they did have some games on national television. Though, were people watching? I'm not sure.
And the viewing experience has improved in New Orleans. It used to be poor lighting, not great, just not great color-wise. And I know some people don't like the giant pelican that stretches its wings from 3-point line to 3-point line. But I think the viewing experience has gotten a lot better. I just didn't like the aesthetics before, but somehow, I don't know what they did. The lights are better. Things are better in New Orleans. It should be a fun game. I know it's of the 4 games, to me, this is the least exciting. I got to be honest.
Yeah.
You got to be totally honest because, they are 2 sub-500 teams. The Pels and the Spurs, they have not been playing like those sub-500 teams recently, so it should be a good one.
Okay, we'll take our first break. When we come back, we'll talk about the Kings looking for another head coach, and we will finally get to my 10 All-NBA teams. Yes, Sicko season is here, people. Be right back.
If you're a small business owner and you're juggling 100 balls in the air, you haven't got time to interview candidates who just aren't qualified for roles you have open. LinkedIn Jobs makes it easier for you to find the people you want to interview faster and for free. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Then add your job and the purple #hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring so your network can help you find the right people to hire. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and potentially hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/nodunks. That's linkedin.com/nodunks to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Lee, they're wondering in the stream team if the Lakers are going to use LinkedIn for their head coach.
Wow, how would they post that? Wanted head coach. Previous,
yeah, probably. That's exactly how you would do it.
Previous experience preferred, not necessarily required though, because you could maybe take a flyer on someone, I suppose.
Sure. With Masterclass, you can learn from the world's best minds anytime, anywhere, and at your own pace. You can learn how to skateboard from Tony Hawk, improve your barbecue skills from Aaron Franklin, or learn wilderness survival from Jesse Krebs. With over 100 classes from a range of world-class instructors, that thing you've always wanted to do is closer than you think. And in fact, I consider myself a bit of a super masterclass pupil. So what I've done is taught myself all 3 of those at once. And I'm going to be putting them into practice shortly. So next week, I will attempt to skateboard through the unknown woods while simultaneously using a map and a brisket as a compass. Again, this type of masterclassing only for the advanced. So you stick to one class at a time. You leave the ollie flipping ribs to your boy Skeetsy, okay? Masterclass is super easy to use, though. You can access the material on your laptop, your phone, your TV. And with the new audio mode, you can even listen in your car or while traveling. Not that I would know. I only skateboard everywhere now, Hawk style. But if you have a car, you can listen to it. I highly recommend you check it out. Get unlimited access to every masterclass. And as a No Dunks listener, you get 15% off an annual membership. Go to masterclass.com/nodunks today. That's masterclass.com/nodunks. Terms apply.
If you can't wait for playoff basketball, the best way to watch is with Sling TV. Get every playoff game for the best price, hands down. Sling is the MVP for all your favorite live sports, news, and entertainment, and you'll never get locked into a long-term contract. While the other guys charge you more for less, with Sling, you can watch all the sports you love, including every playoff basketball game, for the best price. Customize your channel lineup with all-star channels like TNT, TBS, True TV, ESPN, USA Network, and more. Plus, you can stream the games anywhere, so you never miss another play. Watch on your favorite devices, including your phone, computer, tablet, and smart TV. You can also watch anytime you want, with 50 hours of DVR storage included. Sling is easy to set up and easy to use, so check out sling.com for special offers today. Be confident you're getting all the playoff basketball you love for a price you love with Sling. So check out sling.com for special offers.
Okay, back here with the crew. Hey, where's Tess? There he is.
Hey, buddy boy.
Before we get to my 10 All-NBA teams and the snubs, we had some news in the NBA coaching world. We know that Frank Vogel was fired by the Lakers, but also yesterday, Alvin Gentry was informed that he is no longer the interim head coach of the Sacramento Kings and that the team will commence a comprehensive coaching search immediately. Lots of names being considered: Kenny Atkinson, Steve Clifford, Mark Jackson, Mike Brown, and a couple of Bucks assistants, Charles Lee and Darvin Ham. Shams was the first one all over this. But Lee, here we go again with Sacramento. This is not really a surprise. I mean, he hadn't shed the interim head coaching title there, but Gentry's out, and here they go again. What do you think of this news?
Yeah, I mean, he may be staying on in the front office in a role there, but they are obviously trying to get a new head coach, and their Basketball Reference franchise index page is a pretty miserable page because if you go back, do you remember who the coach was before Luke Walton? Anybody remember?
Dave Yeager?
Dave Yeager was the coach, and his last season, he went 39-43. Now, that 39-43 was the best record they had since they last made the playoffs in 2006 with Rick Adelman. So the
amazing.
Kings just can't get out of their own way. They just don't seem to know what they're doing. It's like you hire someone, you go, this is our guy, and then 5 minutes later, he's out and someone else has come in. And that's going to be the problem. They're going to get a coach. They're going to get a good coach there, but the front office and the ownership group there, Vivek Ranadive, he has to be able to get his hands out, because that's where a lot of the criticisms have come from in recent times, that the owner just sort of interferes and puts his fingerprints on bad decisions. And if you hire smart, good, accomplished front office people, you have to basically let them do it. Now, Monty McNair has made a few changes in the last couple of days as well, relieving another assistant general manager of his duties, a press public relations director as well, and there's likely to be other changes. So it sort of you have to trust Monty. If you've hired him to do this job and be the general manager, then you have to let him go all the way through, because otherwise I can see what's going to happen in another year or two. They're going to fire somebody else. And so this is a very, very important decision, I think, for the Kings moving forward. I don't think they made the right decision during the season, trading away Tyrese Halliburton. You know, you get Sabonis in return, but Sabonis has only got, I think, 2 years left on his contract, and he's an unrestricted free agent. So you have to make sure that this next choice of coach is someone who is going to be able to sort of stabilize some movement there, because I really feel that the Kings are their own biggest enemy here, and they've got to be able to get rid of the chaos that's engulfing this franchise and has done for the last 10 to 15 years.
Yeah, this will be Sacramento's third head coach in as many seasons, and its sixth head coach since Michael Malone was let go in 2014. There's been a lot of them, and the only one that's ever had any success was Rick Adelman a long time ago, like Lee said. So who do you bring in here, Tass? And can this team, turn this around with what appears to be building blocks still in Sabonis and Fox? What do you do?
Well, I think what Lee said in terms of bringing in a real steady hand that has an influence beyond just the head coaching role, because it really does go up to the front office. Well, it's we've seen a couple coaching moves in the last couple of days where the front office just isn't doing their job all that well. It's happening in LA where they let go of Frank Vogel, their coach who won a championship without telling the guy first, done through the media. And Alvin Gentry obviously didn't have a long-term contract with this team. At the same time, they need somebody who has that. I mean, who has the confidence of ownership and has the ability to do what he wants. Ever since Michael Malone was let go in 2014. Yeah, it's been a roller coaster. It's been a roller coaster for a long time with this team. So who they bring in, I don't know, but somebody who has a ton of power, I think, and knows that the front office is going to be stable. But that's a lot to ask of this Kings franchise, unfortunately. It is truly a lot to ask. So who knows? I'm just sad that we don't have an Alvin in the league anymore. I love the name Alvin. And you mentioned I'm just thinking names now. Skeets, you mentioned Jackson Hayes, Jackson with an X. What? Herb playing tomorrow, and then Alvin. I'm so sad that an Alvin is gone again. But he'll be back, obviously, on someone's bench if he doesn't take a front office role.
I think I see a lot of people. I know I was watching Deuce and Mo, a fantastic Kings podcast yesterday. They were breaking news, and they even were like showing Fox and Sabonis being asked about this decision and where they go. And it seems like they really just want, of course, someone that can have an identity to a team. Trey, like a Kenny Atkinson, what he did in Brooklyn makes some sense here in Sacramento. If he's given the chance to find young good players and grow them into something, and also keep them accountable, which I think they've been lacking over the last couple of years, probably since a Jagger, if we're being honest. But what do you think the Kings do here? Where do they go?
They've got a few options. Number one, bring back Rick Adelman. He'll be 76 at the start of next season. He's been retired for 7 years, but they made the playoffs 8 times in 8 seasons with Rick Adelman. So maybe that's the key. Atkinson's not a bad choice, especially if you want to kind of be an early Nets team where you're just trying to build more of a program rather than an NBA franchise, get everybody on the same page and get a lot of young guys bought in. I can see that being beneficial. Or maybe, which I'm seeing the stream team suggest as well, Frank Vogel is somebody they could take a look at, because he's going to bring a defensive identity. He said after his time with the Lakers was coming to an end, it's been a win now scenario for him every year. That would not be the case in Sacramento. It would just be an improve now and have an identity. And he's surely got a lot of purple in his wardrobe. Would be a short trip to Sacramento. So I think that could work as well. But they just need somebody that's going to get them to play like a professional basketball team. I don't know what that means. They somewhat improved defensively this year from 30th to 27. So that's at least a step in the right direction. They think they've got things straightened out with their backcourt with Mitchell and Fox, and then Sabonis making plays as well. There's some talent there, but they've not been able to get on the same page basically since Michael Malone was around.
Yeah. The deepest question about this Kings franchise that I came across yesterday was, has Sacramento's inability to evaluate coaching talent held back their bad players, or has their inability to evaluate player talent held back their bad coaches? Real chicken and the egg type of vibe there. I was like, holy crap, my brain nearly exploded trying to think about that one, because they've struck out on both sides of that a couple of times, Lee. But we'll see what they can do here and if they can turn this around. I still believe in De'Aaron Fox. I was tweeting yesterday. I'll buy all your Fox stock if you want off of it. I get it. If you're ready to check out on him, I'll buy it. And I'd hope to see this team at least. Look, it's embarrassing this team is not in the play-in. I mean, we'd all agree with that, right, Lily? With the record that you need to get in at this year,
yeah.
Jesus.
Because when they fired Luke Walton, that didn't seem to be a firing with some other direction or plan in mind. It was just like, hey, we want to just fire the coach and see if that works. And it didn't really do anything. And I think if you are De'Aaron Fox, I also think he is a very good player. But at this point of his career, he must be just like, this can't continue. I can't just keep having new coaches, new general managers, huge overhauls of the roster. He needs some stability himself. So this is a critical season, I think, for him as to finding a coach that can connect with him and bring out the best of him, which we saw 2 seasons ago where he was flirting with all-star selection. But this season, he took a step back for the most part. He just didn't seem to have that same juice. And then you look down the roster as well. Someone like Harrison Barnes, I don't think he's going to be a part of their future. So are they going to, how are they going to move on from him? And moving forward, there's some other decisions there. So this is a big one, a big decision. I think Kenny Atkinson probably fits the sort of mold for a De'Aaron Fox. Like, okay, we can, maybe in the same way D'Angelo Russell excelled under Kenny Atkinson there in
Good
Brooklyn.
coach.
Yeah. And he was an all-star there, D'Angelo Russell. So I think that's the sort of selection. But it's just more important to show some sort of detachment from the ownership group, I think, in the front office, because if they can't keep meddling with decisions, then we're just going to be in this same position with Sacramento for the next year, a couple of years after that. And that's, I think, been their biggest problem.
Skeets, quick question for you. I think the most important thing surrounding the Sacramento Kings is the question of that Deuce and Mo podcast you mentioned. Did Deuce shave his head? That's the most intriguing thing to me about the Kings the last month, I'd say.
I'm glad you asked, Tess.
Yeah, did he?
Yeah, he absolutely did.
Good.
Yes, he the bald cap gag that he did a couple weeks ago was just that, but he really paid it off. I forget what the line was. I mean, he said, "I'll shave my head if the Kings don't win." I want to say it was like 35 games. Like, it wasn't even insane. It wasn't like 50 wins. It wasn't 40. It wasn't like even a winning record. It was like crazy. And they still come up short. But yes, Mo shaved Deuce's head. And you know what? I didn't think it looked that bad on him. It's not like me. It's like really bad on some people. I thought he might have a weird alien head like I do, but I thought he pulled it off okay. But he came through. He delivered. Just like we got to deliver on some pick and payoffs still, but he did.
Great to hear. And a smart move doing it probably on the last show for a while. You can let that hair grow back for a bit.
Oh, yeah. So it's smart all around, and, made more content out of it with the bald cap, and then, did it on the last day. Well played, well executed. Poor King couldn't even win 35 games to save this guy's hair. That's insane. Oh, God.
Yeah. Also crazy when you go to the franchise index on Basketball Reference for the Kings, and 75% of their top 12 players all time are still in black and white. That's not good. You want to see some players in color here. Peja Stojakovic, the only player in color amongst their top 5, alongside Oscar Robertson, Jack Twyman, Bobby Wanzer, and Jerry Lucas.
Oh, jeez, yeah, we
got Bobby Wanzer.
We got Royals players in the mix. Hey, wow,
yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
All right, well, we're cheering for you, Kings fans. Trust me. Okay, let's get to my 10 All-NBA teams. Why did I do this last year? I couldn't remember. But people seem to enjoy it enough, so we thought we'd run it back. The Sicko Skeets 10 All-NBA teams. We'll go through each team one at a time here. I had a lot of fun putting this together. There will be snubs. You will be upset where some of your players are. And just take a second to think about what you're getting upset about, okay? You're going to be pissed off that I didn't have a guy in the top 10 All-NBA teams, or maybe I had him on the 7th team when you thought he should have been on the 6th team. Just breathe a little bit, okay? This is just really fun. I had to make some rules with it, though. So I had to at least play over half the season, at least. I kept around like a 55 games played mark. I thought that was fair this year. So that means there's no Paul George here. There's no Kyrie. There's no Dame. There's no AD. There's no Clay. There's no Beal. There's no Draymond even. I mean, he only played 45 games. So just keep that in mind when you go, well, where's this guy? Maybe it's because he didn't play enough games. Okay. So the first 3 teams we've already discussed before. I changed them a little bit. I got to be honest. First team, though, it's the exact same as I had whatever that was a week and a half ago. I got Jokic as my center. I'll always hit you with my center, my 2 forwards, and my 2 guards. Okay. That's how all 10 of these teams will go. Jokic, Giannis, Jason Tatum, I'm putting as my second forward there on the All-NBA first team. Devin Booker and Luka Doncic. I think you guys almost had the exact same team when we were doing this. For the most part, all the same names are there. Okay, so let's keep it going. All NBA second team. This is where Embiid is. This is where Durant is. I did tweak it a little bit. I had LeBron here. Not making the damn play-in hurts. I'm going to bump him down one. DeRozan, come on up, buddy. You're a forward in my books. And then Ja Morant and Chris Paul are my guards. Okay. And hey, a quick rant here, because this is getting out of control. People on Twitter freaking out about Jokic and Embiid, how they both need to be on the first team. And it's insane that they're not. And people can't pick a damn center. What are you guys doing? It's embarrassing now at this point. I can't believe people I trust, people I turn to their opinions and actually hold in high regard, going nuts over this. No one cares. I'll say this till I'm blue in the face. No one cares at the end of their careers whether Embiid or Jokic had more first-team All-NBA selections when they're just going to be the second team. Nobody. All we're going to find out is, is Embiid going to end up a David Robinson type? 10-time All-NBA center? 4 of them first team, 2 second team, 4 third team. Is it going to be Patrick Ewing, 7-time All-NBA center? 1 first team. That's it. 6 times on the second team. Or is it going to be a Yao Ming, which would probably be better than when it's all said and done? Yao Ming never made a first team. 2 second teams, 3 third teams. Okay, so I just don't care. I don't, and I don't think anybody does. I know I've gotten to a hilarious argument with Trey about this before.
First team matters.
Never
First team
heard
matters big time.
anybody say Hakeem Olajuwon, 12-time All-NBA center. Do you know how many were first team though? Only 50% of the time he made first. No one fucking says it. NBA 75
So
didn't even say it.
You're telling me Hakeem Olajuwon made more first team All NBA teams than David Robinson and Patrick Ewing.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have known unless I did a deep dive on how many times. That's my point, Trey.
I mean, I guess that's
say.
interesting, except for the fact everybody considers Hakeem the best of those 3.
That's then totally fine. Then Jokic will be better than Embiid when it's all said and done.
That's why we do first, second, and third.
But if I had asked you, there's no way you would have been able to tell me the exact breakdown of David Robinson's 10 All-NBA selections. I just know you wouldn't have. And that's fine. You shouldn't, because we just say 10-time All-NBA center. Done. Awesome. Oh, that means he was one of the best at his position? Yes. Does that mean he's a Hall of Famer? Yes. Does that mean, that's it?
Nah, people do rankings. People do a top 10, and Hakeem makes it all the time. David Robinson and Patrick Ewing don't. They were the second and third best centers in that era behind Hakeem, which is why he made the first team so many times.
Oh, I'm going to disagree on this because I've never heard an argument again. I guess what I'm saying is it's not going to really do anything to Embiid, in my opinion. He's going to be a Hall of Famer if he continues to play and rack up all NBA selections, be it first, second, or thirds. And
I'm sure he loves coming in second and third. I'm sure he loves it.
I mean, he's second on my team. He was second on your team because you have a backbone, and at least you can pick between 2 guys for one position.
Let me
else.
Well,
go ahead.
NBA all-temper team. The comment here coming from
hilarious. I've never heard that joke. You are so funny. Come up with some new material, guys. We already got a T-shirt. Jesus, just go buy that.
Oh, you can't ask people to come up with new material when you sold a T-shirt. Anyway, you want to? I heard this stat, and I think it's crazy. Who has made the most All-NBA third teams in the history of the NBA?
Great question, Tash.
LaMarcus Aldridge.
No, it's a player that some would really enjoy being on the All-NBA third team, as in, he's always been he's a current player.
Third wheel.
Rudy Gobert?
No, not a third wheel, but never the best in his class.
Carmelo Anthony?
No. A current player.
How many?
The wing.
Times?
5 times. He's made 5 third All-NBA teams, more than anyone in the history of the league. It's just kind of surprising because you don't think of him as an All-NBA player. I mean, if you really care about what All-NBA team a player is on, this sort of makes sense for this guy. He's made 1 All-NBA first team and 5 third teams, and that's all he's made. He's a wing. He's never won it.
What is
Paul
it?
George.
Paul George is correct.
Paul George. There it is.
Yeah, wild.
DWB Crocker coming through in the stream
Good
too.
stuff. PG. Okay. I just can't believe the conversation going on Twitter and with these actual people with votes, like this maneuvering of trying to get, for some reason, they just are convinced it's so important. I just don't think it is. I completely disagree. Jokic 1 and B2. Anyway, all NBA third team. We got a lot of teams here. We'll speed this up here. Switch it, Andrew. All NBA third teams, you're already over it. Karl Anthony Towns is the center. Siakam is on my all NBA third team. I'm going to put LeBron here. I know people don't even have him on their legit, all NBA third team or second team or wherever. I feel that's like a little crazy. You step back at a certain point with these and go like, well, is he still one of the best at his position? Yes. So he's in on my team. So I guess if you really want to hold it against him that he didn't make the play-in, sure, go nuts. I don't give a shit. Curry is the guard and Trae Young is the guard. Okay, now it gets fun. All NBA fourth team. I'm going Bam Adebayo over Rudy Gobert. Rudy will be on my fifth team. Bam just made the cut on games played, 56 games. Average 19, 10, and 3, 2.2 stocks when you add up your steals and blocks. He's on the best team in the East. I like slotting him in here. I also, I just think he's maybe a bit more of an impactful player than Rudy, of course, offensively. And I still think, he's pretty damn close when it comes to the defense side of things too. Jimmy Butler, second Heat player here. He just made the cut, 57 games. A lot of people, when it comes to their real vote, it's like Siakam or Butler. It seems like that's a debate going on with people with an actual ballot. But I'll put Butler on the fourth team here. Jaylen Brown, who I guess you could convince me as a guard just as much as he has a forward. I think it's pretty close in terms of his minutes played, but I'll put him there. Donovan Mitchell, 26 points per game, not bad. He makes the fourth team. And DeJounte Murray, 21, 8, and 9 on the Spurs. What an unbelievable year. And I think in doing this exercise, DeJounte Murray gets my most improved player vote because he was a snub last year when I did the All-NBA teams. Yes, he didn't make any of the 10 All-NBA teams, and here he is on the fourth team, and I think in a great spot. So there he is. Okay, All-NBA fifth team. And jump in, guys. I am trying to move with pace here, but if you have a real issue with somebody I have, go nuts. Rudy Gobert is the center on the fifth team. Chris Middleton. Andrew, you there, my man? Rudy Gobert, center on the fifth team. Chris Middleton and Zach LaVine are my forwards. Again, LaVine is one of those, where do you put him? I'll put him at the forward. Darius Garland and Van Vliet. In doing this, there are just way more guards in the mix for these 10 All-NBA teams than there were forwards. It started to get a little shallow as I went with the forwards. But Lee, any thoughts on this one? You okay with where these guys are?
Yeah, I mean, Chris Middleton being there, I gave him some consideration on my third team because he's just that under-the-radar Ferris wheel. He's a very good, consistent player, just doesn't get the appreciation and love. So I'm glad that he is in there at number 5. I'm expecting Drew Holiday maybe on the next one as well because I think...
way to tee it up.
Well, just those guys are just underappreciated, I think, and the Bucks are still my favorite to come out of the East, and so good to see them. Well, it was good to see Chrissy getting some love here.
Oh, this is a good comment from Nils from Germany. LaVine is not a forward because you had DeRozan and LaVine as forwards. Mm-hmm. You just got one guard on the Bulls.
He played at forward, but yes. Yeah, I just put them both on because again, too many guards. So I want to show some Zach LaVine love, who had a really awesome, start to the season. I think he sort of, as the Bulls record,
he had a good 3/4 of a season.
Yeah.
So Gobert is too low here, I think.
You think I'm
I
fourth?
got Gobert. Yeah, I got Gobert over Bam. The Jazz fell apart when Gobert went out of the lineup. Yeah. The Heat were able to keep winning because that's just Heat basketball, Heat culture right there.
Yeah, that's fair. Sixth team, Jared Allen is my center. Unfortunate injury at the end of the year, but obviously was an all-star. Well-deserved. Mikal Bridges I'm going to throw here. So now this is a real defensive-minded team. You got Jared Allen, Mikal Bridges with the Suns, Jaren Jackson Jr., who's in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. I know that's your pick, Lee. Mm-hmm. And then LaMelo Ball, and there's your Drew Holiday. I slotted him in there. That feels good, that one. Now I like getting into a little bit more of like, okay, let's give some love to some of the defensive guys. Seventh team. DeAndre Ayton there with the Suns. I put Sabonis as a forward. He does now play center, so you could go there, but we'll put him at one of these. The numbers are still really impressive, even though he played on the Pacers and then the Kings. Miles Bridges, he played in I believe, 80 games this year. So he's like Mikal Bridges, who's an Iron Man, and averaged 20 points per game on like nearly 50% shooting. Great season from Miles Bridges. I like him there. And CJ McCollum. James Harden was I didn't know what to do with James Harden, if I'm being completely honest. Guy averaged 22, 8, and 10 in 65 games. But if you strike his rookie season, it's the worst shooting season of his career. We know all like what happened with him. We don't have to regurgitate that, but it's I don't know, Lee. It's Harden. He's still one of the better guards in the league. This felt right to me. I was like, I like where I got him here. He's not at the end. He's not at the top. It's right in the middle.
I mean, to basically average a triple-double and be on the 7th team just shows how far his sort of appeal, I guess, has fallen, because he still puts up these numbers in what's perceived to be a pretty bad, lazy, sloppy season by his standards. But how many guys in the NBA would kill to have a 22, 8, and 10 season, as you mentioned there, even with those percentages? That's honestly, for some guys, an absolute monster career season. So it's just James Harden is not the most beloved character in the league. He forced his way out of Brooklyn there, goes to Philadelphia, and we've unfortunately seen some of the bad habits sort of pick up again, where it's like he seems uninterested. But even when he's only going at seemingly half speed, he can put up incredible numbers.
Yeah. Tassa, any thoughts on Harden and his All-NBA 7th team selection here during Sicko Week?
I think what it matters when it comes down to a player's resume is that he just made the All-NBA team. Doesn't matter what team he's on.
Oh, even
that's all that matters. Yeah, sure. I think 7th probably, right?
Well, people are saying he shouldn't be on any of the teams.
Well, I mean, he's I think it's math-wise, if you're including DeRozan, he's a forward. Levine's a forward, so technically they could also qualify as guards. Same with Jaylen Brown. I think James Harden is easily a top 20 guard in the NBA. Yeah. All things considered.
Yep. Okay, All-NBA 8th team. Starts to get a little tricky here. I mean, 8th, 9th, and 10th, you can move them all around. And, I mean, sure, you won't be wrong. No one's wrong with these. But I got Valanciunas. I went JV as my All-NBA 8th team center. Brandon Ingram just made the cut with the 55 games played. I really liked his season. 23, 6, and 6. He improved defensively. He helped turn that Pelicans team around. There was a stretch where he was playing lights out basketball, even though no one was watching. So he just makes the cut because of games played. I put Andrew Wiggins here. All-star starter, Andrew Wiggins. It feels right. He shot nearly 40% from 3. As the season went on, you heard less and less from him. I still think it's amazing. He was an all-star starter, but they had that awesome start. So.
Yeah, Harden on the 7th team and all-star. I would assume that Wiggins is on the lowest ranking team as an all-star here. There's nobody. It's an all-star on a 9th or 10th team, I assume.
I don't think so.
I mean, now we're in these are the top 40 players in the NBA as the 8th team here. 24 go to the all-star game. It's just a bad second half for both Wiggins and James Harden, really.
Yeah. Anthony Edwards makes the 8th team as one of the guards. And I put Tyler Hero here, Lee, as, he's going to run away with 6th man of the year. And of course, scoring 20 points per game, whether you start or come off the bench, I mean, it's pretty amazing. I know he plays a lot of minutes for guys that come off the bench, but I thought he was, pretty solid for the Heat this year, who are the first number 1 team in the East. Got to count themselves.
Yes, okay. And I disagree with John Hollinger's analysis that Kevin Love is the runaway winner for 6th man. I think it is going to be Tyler Hero, because I think it's more than just empty buckets. I think he actually really gives them that second punch off the bench. He goes out there, he can run the offense, and he's been outstanding and consistent all season. So I think Tyler Hero is the 6th man of the year and deserving of an 8th All-NBA team.
Okay, to the 9th team. Vucci Baby is my center.
I thought he was a guard. I thought you put him at a guard.
No, he's a center. There's not.
He's 6'4", Skeets. He doesn't take free throws. he can't shoot. So I mean, maybe he is a center. Honestly, this is too high. Too high for Vooch.
Yeah, I put the.
He was brutal. He was brutal. Brutal season. He's out there for his offense and he can't score.
Scotty Barnes forward, Evan Mobley forward. This is where the rookies go. Had to keep them together. Just I was like, fine, good. And again, once you start to get to the last couple of forward spots, you're left scratching your head. I went Desmond Bane as a guard. I think he's had a really, really good season, obviously, especially when John Morant goes out and he still lit it up. And Tyrese Halliburton, his numbers are amazing. He's the Sabonis here flipped, where he was on the Kings, then on the Pacers. Really, really lights out numbers with Indiana. But young guy. This is just a young team here with Vucci, baby. Maybe I should have put Robert Williams III then as my 9th team center. Sure, flip him if you want, but go to the 10th team. Andrew, I got Time Lord as the center, and then my forwards. I went Tobias Harris. I wasn't happy about it, but I put him there. Aaron Gordon. Shout out to a couple people on Twitter making the case for Aaron Gordon, just the contributions that he helped out the Joker and Denver this year. And look, great defensive player, or had a solid defensive year for them, and he did have a fine season. So sure. And then I went with De'Aaron Fox and SGA. This is my team, damn it. I love those two players. And they made the cut games played wise, which actually shocked me. Fox played 59 and SGA played 56. So I think Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is better than a lot of the guards that I've already listed on a couple of the teams prior, but only just playing the 56 games there and on a Thunder team that like basically told them to sit it down once again and all that. Sure. Snubs. The biggest
Andrew,
one.
Sorry, Andrew, is that too low? Is SGA way too low?
Good call. Can't hear you.
I was double muted here. Yeah, no, I think it's a good spot for Shea. He's got to play 70 plus games to even sniff an All NBA 7th team. So
yeah, but I also I wasn't even going to include him or Fox, and you'll see when I get to the snubs for guards. But at a certain point, it's I guess it's like the LeBron thing. It's these guys are better than a lot of the guys that I'm going to say on the snubs list. It's just disappointing seasons in the sense of win-loss records or games played and stuff like that. But okay.
He'll have his time.
Yeah. Okay. So this is fun. Center snubs. Jakob Poeltl. That one hurt. Great year from Poeltl. Became a phenomenon with the word game. So I had him in the mix. Capella was there. He's always in the running for one of these. Wendell Carter Jr. Really good season for the Orlando Magic at the center position as an undersized center. Steven Adams. The numbers aren't there, but we know he's good. And then Christian Wood. Porzingis only played 51 games. So that's the center snubs. Anyone else I'm missing that you want to make a case for? Probably not. We've listed every center in the league at this point.
Where's Zubac?
There it is. That's what I'm looking for. That's good. That's good.
Kevon Looney was one of only 5 players to play all 82 games this season. Where's he at?
Okay. Snubs for the forward position. Did you notice, Lee, one particular team that I didn't have either of their forwards in? It's one of your favorite teams.
One of my favorite teams.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe
that doesn't really narrow it down at all.
No. It's your favorite place to see a game and mine.
The Fortress.
No.
That was a real All-NBA player last year.
Yeah.
Julius.
So RJ Barrett was the one I was seeing if he made
RJ Barrett and Julius Randle.
Yeah. I didn't think
Randle was a real All-NBA player last year.
Yeah.
I didn't think Randall was going to make it, but Barrett had a pretty solid 20 and about 8.
Yeah, you think that, and then you go look at it. I thought the same thing. I was like, I'll put Barrett on. Yeah, good old Canadian boy too. And then I'm like, I'm going to leave Randall off. And then I'm like, RJ Barrett had, in some categories, a worse season than RJ Barrett. Or sorry, than Randall. It wasn't amazing.
Yeah, Randall's a bit like Harden. I think he ended up averaging 20 and 10, but he just did not have the season that he had last season. His shooting was down and just his impact was down as well. But to still just put up 20 and 10s when you're having a bad season is a pretty incredible effort. 20 and 10 used to be like, how can you leave a guy off All NBA if he's averaging 20 and 10?
Yeah.
Now it's like barely get you on in some cases.
Yeah, Barrett started slow this year, and Randall had a rough year, so I just kept them both off. We'll see if the Knicks fans care at all. Bojan Bogdanovic, that guy just scores 18 points a game every season. I feel like for the Jazz, so he's a snub. Kyle Kuzma, sure,
yeah,
perfect snub for this. Cam Johnson, obviously playing on a great Suns team, he doesn't really have the numbers, and then Jeremy Grant. He only played 47 games, so that really kept him out of contention here. And then the guards. Listen to these guards. Well, where's Westbrook? Do you put Westbrook on one of these teams, Lee? Or is
no? But the same thing with Harden. I think someone had a stat the other day. Westbrook led the team in rebounds, assists, steals, and was second in points. And it's like, oh man, it did not feel like that at all. So,
no.
But no, you can't have. You can't. He just wasn't good enough this season.
Yeah, so he's a snub. I have Lowry as a snub. I think he's obviously a great player still, but they did miss a chunk of time there. His numbers are not going to wow you. Marcus Smart, great defensive player, similar to Lowry in that sense. Tyrese Maxey, Mike Conley, Terry Rozier, Reggie Jackson. I thought had like a much better season statistically than I, in my head, I was like, well, man, he sort of carried the Clippers at times. And I see him always have these big games. I think you look at his numbers and they're like, it's classic Reggie Jackson where it's like not that efficient, but has been asked to do a lot and at times has really come through for them. So he's a snub.
Scored a lot of clutch points.
Yeah, he did. Gary Trent Jr. for the Raps, pretty dominant, year from distance at least and scoring the ball. Cade Cunningham, obviously Pistons rookie. D'Angelo Russell, perfect snub. Anthony Simons, Jordan Poole, Jalen Green, and Kevin Porter Jr. That's it. And I'm sure I'm missing 10 other guys.
Jalen Brunson,
sure. Put him on. I love it. Anyone else?
Surprise. Jordan Poole's a wild one. Had a really good season. Led the league in free throw percentage. Shocking to me. 92.5.
Yeah. And people are saying, don't forget about Sadiq Bey. That's the perfect way to end. So there are my all NBA 10 teams, 1 through 10. Let me know what you agree or disagree with. Who is too high? Who is too low? Who should have been on? What was the name I didn't say? Have at it as you are in the stream team, in the YouTube comments, and tweet at me if you want at JE Skeets. Always a fun time putting those together. Okay, let's take one more break. Lee, when we come back, tweet of the night.
Can't wait.
One of the best things about Peloton is that they use real music in all of their workouts. We were just talking about jock jams here on No Dunks. And Peloton just recorded a series with them. I was doing a 15-minute workout that started with, "Oh, you're unbelievable!" Yeah, try not working out to that song. Then I got into the Tootsie Roll. Let me see that Tootsie Roll. Hip Hop Parade. Push it. Whoop, there it is. What a workout. Instructed by Jess Sims. Then I went on a run in Iceland with Jess Sims. Volcanoes everywhere. Then I went on a jog with Selena Samuela in New Mexico. Leah, like this, pine nuts were falling from the trees as we jogged, and she told everyone her mom makes pesto with those nuts. Collects them, grinds them, makes some nuts. Like many of you out there, I don't love working out, but Peloton has enough different features to keep me interested and motivated, and they're timely. I did a workout this morning that was recorded this morning. It just keeps it fresh, keeps me in the loop. I was also just at Disney, and Peloton has a travel series designed for when you're on the road. I was doing some plank up downs, hands, elbows, and Danielle came by and said, "Oh, you're getting pretty close to that disgusting carpet. Hope you don't catch something." And I said, "You picked this hotel. I just brought the Peloton." If you want to check it out, there is a No Dunks hashtag on there. Visit onepeloton.com to learn more. That's ONEPELOTON.com.
Yeah, so I just got back from Aruba last night. Loved it. You know what else I love? Coming home to my own bed, especially when that mattress is a beautiful Helix. Because as much fun as we had on the island, nighttime, not as much fun because you're sleeping on an Airbnb bed. It's fine, just wasn't my Helix. And on previous trips, I've actually taken my own bed pillow with me because it's just the one I like. I hate it when you go to a hotel and you're like, too heavy, too thick, too thin, whatever. So I take my own pillow. Trying to figure out a way now. Taz took his Peloton to Orlando. I wonder if I can somehow ship my Helix mattress on my next
Your
trip.
whole bed?
Yeah. I mean, why not? Why not? But it is so good. And the reason I think I like it so much is because when I chose it, I ordered the right one online and it was so easy to do. So, you fill out all your preferences there and you get the right mattress based on your preferences. We went with the Dusk Luxe mattress, which is medium firmness, good for both back and stomach sleepers, which covers mine and my wife's preferences. She prefers to sleep on her back. I'm a sort of side stomach guy, so works for both of us. And that quiz I was talking about takes just 2 minutes to complete, matches your body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you and your partner. With Helix, you're getting a mattress that will be perfect for the way that you both sleep. Everybody's unique and Helix knows that, so they have several different mattress models to choose from. You've got your soft, your medium, your firm mattresses. Mattresses great for cooling you down if you sleep hot. Mattresses great for spinal alignment to prevent morning aches and pains, and even a Helix Plus mattress for those plus size sleepers. So if you're looking for a mattress, you take the quiz, you order the mattress that you match to, and it comes right to your door, shipped for free. You don't need to go to a mattress store again. Just go to helixsleep.com/no-dunks, take the 2-minute sleep quiz, and they'll match you to a customized mattress. And Helix, it's awesome. Now, if you don't believe me, you don't take my word for it, but if my word does carry any weight with you, then you can trust what I'm saying, because I do sleep on one every single night, and it's awesome. And we're actually thinking about getting another one for our child, because he's due for a new mattress, and I'm thinking, why not go with a Helix? I mean, it works for us.
You spoil that child.
Well, why not? But so you're not really spoiling them, because it's not like you're going out there and splashing a fortune. They're very well priced mattresses for what you're getting. Helix was awarded #1 best overall mattress pick of 2020 by GQ and Wired magazine, and has been recommended by multiple leading chiropractors and doctors of sleep medicine as a go-to solution for improving sleep. Now, the best part for me, 10-year warranty, and you get to try this baby out for 100 nights. That's over 3 months of sleeping risk-free. If you don't love it, they'll come and pick it up for you free of charge. But how strong does a company stand behind its product to say, here's a custom mattress made for you, you get it for 100 nights risk-free, and we guarantee it's good for 10 years. So if you work that out, 8 hours a night for 10 years on that bed, that's a lot of hours right there. About 29,000 if you ask me. Anyway, Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/no-dunks. Tell them the Big E sent you.
Okay, back with No Dunks here. Let's get to tweet of the night.
Tweet of the night. Wow.
Twitter.
All right, Lily, what do you got, man?
I've got a good 3-parter. Twitter used to be fun when you could have some, make fun of people without it getting too nasty. And that's what really happened, I think, yesterday. The Orlando Magic sent out a fun tweet. They said, I am out for the season officially. See you all in the fall. Making fun, of course, of LeBron, who tweeted that on April Fool's Day. Turned out to be rather, what's the word when you sort of predict something?
Prophetic.
Anyway. Yes, prophetic. That's right. Yes. Anyway, so StatMuse, who they like to stir things up on Twitter, they replied and said, well, look, LeBron's had 174 wins in the playoffs in his career. The Orlando Magic have only 59 wins in the playoffs all time, thinking that they had zinged the Magic, only for the Magic to respond very, very nicely by replying with their own tweet from a few weeks ago here, when they just said, StatMuse, this is, we don't usually read our replies, but after doing so in the past few weeks, we've realized too little of it is actual sports discussion. We're experimenting with temporarily disabling it to see if we can improve signal, reduce noise, and cultivate a more focused StatMuse community. And their Magic just tweet that picture with the word ratio.
Wow.
And they got burned. StatMuse afterwards, that was another tweet. They just said, well played. They took that one on the chin. And that's the way Twitter should be. You can have some fun. You throw out a little something, you get zinged in return. You say, okay, you got me, and you move on. So well done, StatMuse and the Orlando Magic.
Okay. Well done all around.
Do you like StatMuse?
Lee, do you like your StatMuse Twitter account having a personality, or did you like it when it was just stats?
No, look, they've had a few hits for sure, but they also they definitely like to create conversation. I'll say that, divisiveness at times, but they've taken their hits, but they've they've had some good tweets as well. So keep it up. Just don't get into the nasty sort of like name calling and the vitriol that we always see. Basically, on anything that gets tweeted these days, it ends up just being like a slanging match between people and accounts, and it's just no fun when it's like that.
Mm-hmm. It is a weird initial tweet from the Magic, I will say. Like, I guess it's funny, of course, because it's a parody of LeBron, but it's like, I don't really see the correlation all that much.
Look, you don't want
another brutal season. You haven't won a playoff series.
Exactly. You don't want to be promoting the fact that you missed the play-in tournament in the East.
It's just weird. But
and you still got to tweet in the off season.
Yeah.
You're not. God, it was weird.
That's a good point.
Your account doesn't shut down.
Yeah. Okay.
He's going to be Hito Turkoglu's birthday someday. You got to say happy birthday.
Didn't they have, the Magic had something about their leader in assists, I think was DJ
Shelvin Mack.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, and it was like 3.8 for the season.
The season-ending tweet from the Orlando Magic is hotly anticipated every
Yeah.
year. What are they coming out with?
Love it. Okay, great tweets there, Lee, for tweet of the night. Let's call it there. Email in your NBA questions to nodunks@theathletic.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at NoDunksInc. That's INC. Grab yourself an athletic subscription. Go to theathletic.com/nodunks. $1 a month for up to 6 months for new subscribers. If you go to theathletic.com/nodunks, they know that we sent you. So you're helping us, help them, help yourself, because you get a great subscription and you can listen to all of these podcasts if you want ad-free through the Athletic app. On tomorrow's show, it is Wednesday. We're going to recap tonight's 2 play-in games. Again, if you want to hear us talk about them, check out yesterday's podcast. Cavs, Nets, Clips, Wolves tonight. We were split on who wins that second game, Clips, Wolves. I think in the end, correct me if I'm wrong, we all took the Nets in the first game. Is that right? Yes. Everybody took Brooklyn to get the 7th seed. So we'll see if that happens. If it does, or whoever wins that game between Cleveland and Brooklyn, they'll be taking on Boston, and we'll start doing our deep dive on tomorrow's podcast about those other Eastern Conference playoff matchups. So obviously Boston against whoever they're playing in the 7th seed. We've got the Bucks Bulls to talk about a little more detail, and we've got the Sixers Raptors, and we'll make our official predictions for those series. And then, we'll do the whole thing again on Thursday when we get to the Western Conference. But tonight, some games on. Nice to have basketball back in our life, and we'll be back to break them down. 10 a.m. Eastern live here on YouTube. If you're new to the show, subscribe and like the video. And new No Breaks coming up later today in mere hours with special guest Lee Ellis to talk about the Australian GP. Well, why are you laughing? Have you even watched the race, Lee?
Yes, I've watched the. I've been doing some research on it. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Good.
Okay, well, we're going to be asking Lee a lot about, just driving in Australia in particular. Just what it's like,
Yeah. Other side of the road, man. It's crazy.
Wild stuff.
I was going to say No Breaks has its own YouTube feed, its own podcast feed. So if you want to listen to Trey and Graydon basically every week talk about the F1 season, subscribe to No Breaks. It's a lot of fun, and you'll learn a lot too from those guys. And have some laughs with Lily today. That'll be a lot of fun. Okay. Enjoy the games tonight. Andrew, thank you so much. I know you're on No Breaks later today, but thank you so much for filling in for JD. In theory, he's back and we're back in the Classic Factory tomorrow, but you killed it, my man. Hopefully you had some fun.
Yeah, it's been great. Out of the yard, back into the factory.
Okay. And who's first up? Who's getting the first OKC Thunder interview?
I think we got SGA coming up here in a little bit. We'll get Giddy and Dort this morning. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Well, please tell SGA that I had him on my All NBA 10th team. Okay. So
I'll let him know.
What
Your
was
reaction to making
when
the
you
all.
heard?
Yeah. Love it. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Until No Breaks later today, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow. And remember, this is a message that goes out to Andy and Linda Peel in England. No Dunks is thinking about you.
Brace the day, people.
You could